It's Mack. Welcome back. Episode 39 of Icebreaker. And as always, it's presented by Tribute Digital Strategy Group. Check them out at tribute.com. It's tribute with two B's. Tribute products and services reflects our obsessive commitment to creating value for our client partners. We work hard to ensure that we will understand how clients define value and convert those definitions to quantifiable results. So check them out. As I said last week, great people, really good to deal with. AJ, how are you?
I'm good. Tribute has two B's. Did you know AJ actually has two J's?
No way.
Yeah, no,
And did you know Icebreaker Show Twitter and Instagram have two W's? So check
that's
them out
right.
there as well. Two W's on
I
show.
I think we've started a trend. I like it.
Yeah, no, we're all about the doubles here. I guess we'll get right into it in the NHL because we're so focused on the North Division, and the Jets, as of when we're recording this, were tied for first place in the North over the weekend.
Mhm.
Not sure that's the case when you're listening to it, but you brought up before we started here. Do you remember when the Toronto Maple Leafs had the best record in the whole league?
Yeah, and everybody was talking about that North Division, and that was the division, and everybody there was going to be this big fight between the Oilers and the Jets for best team in the league with the Leafs in there. And they've really slid off the map. I was looking at the standings today. The Central Division with the Lightning and the Hurricane and the Panthers now coming up. That's looking like a tough division to beat once we get down to the playoff
It's
situation.
it's going to be so interesting when it gets to the playoff situation because these teams haven't played each other.
That's
Right.
right.
Once you come out of your division, then you finally see other teams, and it's like, whoa, we've played the same 6 or 7 teams all year. What are these guys? How do they play?
Yeah. So, I mean, like I just said, Tampa's looking just on fire right now, including overtime. They've only lost 10 games out of the whole year.
Wow.
It's going to get really fun here once we actually wrap up this bizarre season that we've been in.
Yeah, and it's been fun to watch. I know at the start of like when the season started, I said I never watched the Canadian matchups, but it has been fun to watch the Canadian matchups. And there's like now a rivalry. Like every team has a little rivalry going. Like they don't like each other. And that's awesome. Like Calgary and the Jets, like those games get feisty. Edmonton, like all those things, just because they're seeing so much of each other now.
Just all the games get feisty now. Watch out for the Canadians. The Canadians are coming up. They just made a big trade for Eric Stahl.
Yes.
I don't know if that's as big as it would have been a few years ago, but Eric Stahl is still a really quality player to get into that mix.
We'd be reminisced if we didn't talk about how Buffalo's lost 17 in a row. That is hard to do.
I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. How far do you think it goes?
I think this has been a month now where like talked about it like, oh, they've lost 6 in a row. And then the next week it's like, oh, it's 12. You know what I mean? And now we're up to 17.
Yeah,
And
and you know which team has the record for losses in a row?
I did see it.
It's
You
the
can go
Winnipeg
ahead.
Jets.
Yeah, you can go ahead and say it.
It's the Winnipeg Jets. I think it was massive. I don't remember the number.
It's
What
like
was it, like
32,
30,
I think.
32? Those 80s Jets were a very interesting bunch.
That's back in the day, but like, and I guess with the media, it wouldn't have been as noticeable that it is now with all the social media and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Buffalo can't hide from it. It's wild. Just on the topic of like losing, the New York Rangers have the Philadelphia Flyers number, specifically Mika Zibanejad.
Yeah. What did he
Like
have in the game the other night? 6 goals or 6 points rather, right?
they played them twice, and in both games he had 3 goals and 3 assists, like
So
12
yeah.
points in 2 games. It's
And you
incredible.
know what? You've played hockey too. I think that as a player, sometimes that's what it is. You have a team's number. That
Yeah.
you've got an edge on that team.
It's crazy how that happens. And then some teams you just like you can't score against and you never play good. It might be to do with the building that you're in, but it's these little nuances. It's just so funny how it works. Um, but yeah, lots going on in the NHL that's fun. I mean, good
Yeah.
and bad. It's fun to talk about.
There is one bad thing I want to talk about, and if you don't mind, I'm actually going to make a hot take here.
Wow, okay.
You know who hasn't been having a lot of fun lately in the NHL is Patrick Laine since leaving Winnipeg.
This is true.
Before I say it, I think I want to pull it up here. In 25 games in Columbus, 7 goals.
Wow.
That's the sniper, Patrick Laine.
Wow.
And he's having such a rough time that the hot take, I think, tonight is I think Patrick Laine is going to move again this season before the trade deadline.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. The Manitoba building trades hot take. There you have it. That's a little bit wild off the board, but we like to do that with our hot takes and go
We got to go out there with them.
go a little crazy. It's not just any project. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. It's about building something great for Manitoba. That's why you turn to the talent and craftsmanship of Manitoba's expert tradespeople. Manitoba Building Trades is Manitoba's unionized construction industry. Productive labor is our business. With over 10,000 skilled trades professionals, we build what others can only imagine. Visit mbtrades.ca and come build with us. That is quite the take.
I think I'm going to make it a little spicier. I'm going to actually twist the knob a little bit here. I think before the trade deadline, Patrick Laine goes to Montreal.
Wow.
I think so. He's pretty much, he's not going to re-sign again in Columbus unless they get rid of the coach, unless Torts is gone.
Yeah.
They can get some value for him right now. And after making that trade for Eric Stahl, I was reading a few rumors, some rumblings that the Habs were interested in Laine now. Imagine him showing up in Winnipeg in the North Division again.
Yeah, wow. That would be something else. He would have to do his quarantine for 7 days or whatever it is. And that brings you, pretty close to the end of the year. Another funny thing that I just want to bring up before I move on is in the NHL. Did you see the Flames coach's comments on Johnny Gaudreau ahead of his 500th career game?
I didn't. What were they?
So the reporter asked him, Sutter, he just got hired there. And they asked him, like, what have you seen through Johnny Gaudreau's career through 499 games, and what excites you the most? Something like to that effect. And he answers, he goes, well, I hope he brings a little bit more jump to his game and his 500th game than he did in his 499th.
You're only as good as the last game you played.
Oh, I was laughing. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. We'll just jump ahead here a little bit. As we mentioned last week and a few weeks prior, the whole Western League's up and running now. 7 games on a night over the weekend. It's basically back to what normal we can be right now.
Yeah.
The East Division hub's buzzing. Ice got off to a great start, dropped a couple lately, but still 5-3 on the year at the time we're recording this, which is great. All the teams are doing 50-50 draws for their education fund, which is extremely important to support. And that's no different for the Winnipeg ICE. If you're listening in Manitoba, check out their 50-50 draw. It's cumulative, over $7,000 right now. All the other teams, depending on where you're listening, they're doing some sort of 50-50 as well. So check that out. Great thing to support. And then the hockey's, it's been shocking to me how good the hockey has been after a year off. No training camp, no preseason games. It's literally been very good hockey. I've been extremely impressed.
Yeah, I think you've just got a lot of really hungry kids chomping at the bit to just to play and to get that sense of normalcy like you brought up. So it's good. It's really good to have them on the ice, Mac.
Yeah, and the streams have been great for all teams too. The new platform that the WHL moved to. So if you're looking at checking out some Western Hockey League action, you get like a day pass for $6 or something like that. The season's really cheap, so check that out. I'm sure it's on lots of teams' websites, on winnipegice.ca. But the hockey's been great. We're gonna stick to hockey here. I have some trivia questions for you this week after you put me in a blender last week, an absolute spin cycle. So I think you might know these ones. I think you're going to go 3 for 5.
Okay.
My first question, if you're ready for it.
I'm all ready. Yeah, let's have it.
It is hockey. Okay. Interesting stat that's always stood out to me is that there's only been like 6 or 7 teams who've won the Stanley Cup who didn't have a Canadian captain. And obviously it's been more of that recently with the Bruins and Chara, Ovechkin and whatnot. Who was the first non-Canadian captain to win the Stanley Cup in 1999? I'll even give you the year.
Brett Hull.
Darian Hatcher of the Dallas Stars.
In 99, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's interesting. And it took till 99, which is crazy, right? When you
Yeah.
think about it. Like, and it's
Yeah.
only been a few, like 6 or 7 times that a non-Canadian captain's won the Stanley Cup.
That is interesting, but when you think about it, like when the European players really boomed in the 90s, they were coming over and performing well, but very few were captains.
Yes.
So that's interesting.
Next question. Who was the first player in NHL history to score 100 points in a single season when he scored 126 total points?
First person in NHL history.
Yes.
Oh, so this could be going very far back.
You want the year?
I want the decade at least. Yeah.
All right. It was 68, 69.
Yeah. Who would have done it in 68, 69? Oh, man. I am not feeling this. I'm just going to throw out Gordie Howe.
No, Phil Esposito. Ring a bell?
And back then, I could have thrown a dart at a dartboard with a bunch of hockey players just to figure that one out. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Who was the first player to record back-to-back 50-goal seasons? Same era.
Mike Bossy.
Bobby Hull.
Oh, okay. Golden Jet.
Yeah, Bobby Hull. Okay, here's an interesting one for you.
Okay.
Speaking of European players, who was the first Russian-born player to be drafted number 1 overall in the NHL draft?
I want to say a name, but I don't know if he was drafted number 1. If he wasn't, he darn well should have been. Pavel Bure. Oh,
Ilya Kovalchuk to the Atlanta Thrashers.
That was my second guess, but I wasn't sure if I'm now interested in what number Pavel Bure went at.
I don't have that for you.
Yeah.
Let me check my encyclopedia here. Okay, and here's a fun one to end it off.
Yeah.
Which company supplied all of Patrick Waugh's goalie pads?
What did he wear? I wonder. I've got to say CCM. No.
When I say the answer, you're gonna laugh. Like you're gonna picture it. Coho.
Oh, because Cooper was my second guess.
Coho. I just laugh. I thought that question was funny because when you think of the goalie gear now, how nice it is and sleek, and you look at it back in the day, it was just like clumpy and
Coho.
Yeah.
For the record, Pavel Bure drafted in the 6th round, 113th overall. They call him one of the biggest draft day steals in history.
Wow, you're a little bit off with your one overall.
Should have gone first. The guy was incredible. He's a Russian rocket.
That is funny. Before we bring in our guest here, I just wanted to say, check us out on social media. As we alluded to off the top of the show, it's Icebreaker Show with 2 W's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Appreciate everybody listening wherever you listen, available everywhere. So if you like it, tell your friends, pass it on. But cool guest today. It's the ICE 2020 first round pick who is suiting up in the WHL East Division hub with the team, and that's Zach Benson. We're going to bring him right in. Joined by ICE 2020 first round pick, Zach Benson. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I guess we'll start and look back here. What has the last year been like for you?
Yeah, it's been weird. Starting with the Fraser Valley Thunderbirds and then thinking that we're going to have a season, which we started off, we played 7 games in a cohort. And then we're playing on a Sunday night, and our coach came in. He's like, this is our last game, so play your guys' hearts out. Might be the last game of the year for most of you. And then Winnipeg, the WHL announced the bubble, and then Winnipeg found out that they could take an 05. So I jumped all over that. That was kind of my year story.
And you mentioned your coach said it could be your last game of the season. Was that before the game or was it in between a period?
It was before the game actually, because Bonnie Henry had made an announcement that starting that midnight was when everything was kind of gonna get shut down or go back to phase 2.
Right. And then if we move back into the draft day, what was that like for you and your family just to see that you were called by Winnipeg ICE?
Yeah, that was extremely exciting. Going into the draft, me and my family honestly didn't know where we were gonna end up, and so just sitting there and seeing guys get picked, and then at 14 seeing Winnipeg up to pick and getting my name called, it was definitely extremely exciting. Probably one of the best moments I've ever encountered.
Did you have an idea at 14? Were you thinking maybe this could be it?
To be honest, I I didn't really know. Like, I talked to them the night before and they said that they had interest, but you know, I'm not gonna say that I knew, and if I honestly did not know. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How did you find out, as you alluded to earlier, that you were going to join the team inside the bubble?
um, well, that day the WHL got announced or got approved of the bubble. Jake and Matt called that night and just asked if I would be up to going with them for a few weeks into the bubble, and practice with the team, get to know everyone, and just see what it's like. And obviously I jumped all over that. And
How has Regina been so far?
yeah, it's been awesome. Just being around the guys and seeing all the new faces and seeing guys like Peyton Krebs and Carson Lambos. It's definitely exciting, and to learn from guys like that, it's pretty cool.
And then obviously the season started on the weekend and you played in the first game, the season opener. How did you find out that you were playing?
Um, I honestly, we had a morning skate at, I think, like around 11, and I got changed into my dryline clothes, and uh, she posted the lineup on the wall, and I saw my name on there, and it was definitely pretty exciting to find out that I was playing that night.
You call your parents right after, and where were they watching from?
Um, yeah, I called my parents after the morning skate and just let them know, and they were extremely excited as I was, and they were watching from my house in Chilliwack, BC.
I know that they sent in a message for you and the team. Were you a little surprised to see that on social media?
Yeah, I didn't see it till after the game, but yeah, I was definitely a little surprised to see that.
And then obviously with your first game under your belt, how did you feel and what are you looking forward to here in the near future?
Yeah, it felt good to get out there with the boys and playing the first game. Most of the guys didn't play in over a year, and just to play in that game and all the emotions and playing a team like Brandon, the rival of the Ice, is definitely exciting. And yeah.
You got thrown right into it, into the Battle of Manitoba. Was it as physical and as intense as you had expected?
Yeah, absolutely. The first couple shifts, there was a few big hits, and it was kind of like, whoa, like, it's definitely, you could tell it was a rivalry.
Absolutely. And then just last one for you before I let you go. Uh, do you have any personal goals here moving forward within Regina and then moving into next year?
Um, I just say, just keep working hard, and yeah, that's really it. Just keep getting better each and every day.
Well, appreciate the time, Zach, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks, Mac.
Well, as always, thanks again, for checking us out. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, pass it on to your friends. Hope everybody has a great week, and we will talk to you next week.